Tonight on NAIT NewsWatch.
Alberta government is going through some big changes this week.
The party has given me the honor of leading them as the interim leader.
The lack of low-income housing is concerning renters.
Nothing's in my price range. I can't afford anything. It sucks.
Canadian troops finally come home.
I think Alberta's the best place in the country to be a soldier.
NewsWatch starts now.
Good evening. Some big changes are happening in the Alberta government this weekend.
With intense media glare and PC party defections, it all came to a head. Our Daniel Stillwell joins us live from our news center with more.
Thank you, Krista. With Premier Alison Redford's Wednesday resignation announcement, the atmosphere at the Alberta Legislature has been hectic. I was at the legislative grounds on Thursday morning where they made the announcement of who will be replacing her. With one of the shortest terms in office, the Premier's resignation came as a sudden shock. And as of tomorrow, Deputy Premier and Advanced Education Minister Dave Hancock will assume Alberta's top job on an interim basis.
The caucus has given me that privilege to lead them as we go through this governance process.
Fellow Tory Cabinet Minister and former Deputy Premier Thomas Lukaszuk thinks Dave Hancock has the right amount of experience for the job.
Hancock has a lot of respect in our caucus. He has been elected in Edmonton for some 17 years. He has held some meaningful and important cabinet portfolios.
Hancock says he has no intention of pursuing the office of Premier once his interim role is complete.
We all have sense of what kind of province we'd like to have, but there's times and places when you put anything personal you have aside and you step up and do the job that needs to be done, and that's a time for me to step up and do this job.
So who will run for Premier? Some are throwing out names such as Finance Minister Doug Horner or Justice Minister Jonathan Dennis. Some are even going as far as to say former Edmonton Mayor Stephen Mandel. The PC party has 4 to 6 months to decide.
And there are some significant decisions that need to be made. We're going to keep on raising the issues in the legislature, hopefully trying to get the attention of government, but we're realistic. 6 months, we're basically the government shut down.
Former Tory MLA Donna Kennedy-Glanz made a decision to leave the PC party last week, citing changes needing to be made within the party and that it wasn't about the leadership. Now, Kennedy-Glanz may reconsider her choice of becoming an independent.
We've got a constituency break coming up for 2 weeks now, which I'm really grateful for, the timing of that. And I'll spend that time talking to people who voted for me and asking what they think.
Premier Alison Redford will officially step down as head of the Alberta government on Sunday.
Daniel, how much of an impact did Redford's travel expenses have on her resignation?
Oh, a huge impact. That $45,000 trip was the driving force in her low poll results. She ended up paying back the money she spent, but by the time she did, the damage was done.
Has a premier ever resigned like this before?
Well, Ed Stelmach, her predecessor, left under similar circumstances, but her story's closer to that of Don Getty. His 1992 leadership supposedly caused a loss of support and a riding to the Liberals. He was eventually taken into a closed-door meeting with PC party leaders and resigned shortly before the next provincial election.
Thanks, Daniel. That's Daniel Stillwell reporting live from our news center.
NAIT NewsWatch, the next generation of news.
If you're looking for a place to rent, then you may have a hard time finding an affordable space.
Low-income renters are struggling to find homes due to rising rent costs and limited vacancies. Mary Charbonneau is reporting from the Westwood neighborhood with more on this story.
That's right, the revitalization project is drawing upscale buildings and businesses to the heart of the city. However, this is causing higher prices for housing.
NAIT student Jackie Polina is looking for a place to live. She's finishing school and doesn't know if she can afford to rent in Edmonton.
Nothing's in my price range. I can't afford anything. It sucks, unless I want to go live in somebody's basement, which I don't necessarily want to do.
Students aren't the only people struggling to find a home. David Berger of Boyle Street says the number of homeless people has increased.
We're finding people moving in from reserves, from northern Alberta, from other parts of Canada, looking for work and finding a tight rental market and finding it's not that easy to survive in the city.
The city acknowledges the economic boom is affecting the rental market.
I mean, certainly things go in cycles, and as things start to get more active in the economy, it's tougher for people to find rentals usually, and that's the trajectory we're on. And with that, the prices tend to go up.
The city is looking at increasing the amount of living spaces for low-income and other renters.
We're certainly working to try and get more rental projects going, and some private sector projects are happening there. The city's also supported construction of a number of new projects through some of the affordable housing incentive programs.
Upgrades to drainage and sewer systems is in progress. This should lay the foundation for public and private projects.
In the short term, options for students and working poor are limited.
People that are trying to get by with what they have, you know, for people that don't have the option of having a full-time job, such as students, I'm definitely disappointed, and I wish that there was something just to make it a little bit easier on us.
With the city's expansion of the transit system, access to different parts of the city will become easier, which may allow for more housing options.
Thanks, Mary. That's Mary Charbonneau reporting from Westwood.
The last of the Canadian Armed Forces were happy to be on home soil, marking the end of the 12-year mission in Afghanistan. Police were on hand to greet soldiers, with Premier Alison Redford and Mayor Don Iveson, along with other military officials, to welcome soldiers as they arrived on the tarmac. Fire Rescue and Edmonton Police raised Canadian flags as the plane landed.
When Canadian soldiers come home to Alberta, that's the kind of welcome they get. So I think, I'm biased. I think Alberta is the best place in the country to be a soldier. We certainly feel the support of the population here.
The troops were then escorted to the garrison base to be reunited with their families.
The Catholic School Board is joining forces with the Edmonton Public School Board on transportation for students. At the Catholic School Board meeting, the motion was passed to combine bus routes to cut down times for rides for students. Not only does this make it easier for students, but also parents and teachers.
It will mean greater efficiencies, lower ride time, money saved. It's a win-win, I believe.
This will save about $2.5 million a year for the Edmonton Student Transportation Authority.
A lot of commuters find it easier to use the LRT in downtown, but unfortunately, the NAIT LRT line construction has been delayed. The Metro line of Edmonton's LRT from Churchill Square to NAIT is almost ready to go. While the LRT itself has been completed, the signaling system that controls the train and intersections is not yet functional. The city and contractors are working to have the line up and running by late 2014, if not sooner.
Grant-MacEwan University is expanding their downtown campus. In a few months, changes will begin to emerge at Grant-MacEwan University as they begin construction on a major arts and culture center on their 104th Avenue parking lot. The new building will contain 3 theaters, an art gallery, and various studios.
Decentralized institutions, they're difficult to manage, they're difficult to maintain fairness. And I think they do erode the sense of institutional identity, that there is one MacEwan University and here's where it sits.
To complete the $150 million project, funding will be used from the sale of their Millwoods and West End campuses, as well as through the province and private donations. The new building is estimated to be completed in 2017.
Kijiji Canada has found a new way to eliminate unethical puppy ads on their website. Thousands of puppies are sold on Kijiji each year, but now the website is charging a fee of $4.99 for ads selling dogs. This is to help curb the sale of animals.
We can kind of work together to bring attention to a situation where people are doing it for the wrong reasons is a good thing.
While Kijiji and the Edmonton Humane Society monitor the ads, there are other clues that can tell you what to watch out for. They don't want you to see the other dogs in the litter, they don't want you to come to the facility to see the dog, and a high litter number from the mother. The ads are limited to 30 days before expiring from the website.
Think you know enough about the Great White North to call yourself a true Canadian? Trust me, you need to do more than love poutine and hockey than this young citizen sure does. 14-year-old Rahul Bhutani stumbled across the Canadian Citizenship Challenge online and thought it'd be fun to take. Simple enough, you take a 25-question quiz in 15 minutes, and all he had to do was get 100%, and that won him a trip to Ottawa to explore Canadian history in its capital.
I'll have a Parliament tour, a Rideau Hall, and the War Museum, and also the National Art Gallery.
Rahul will be back to school this week after his trip. Coming up after the break, a digital way of learning that will take some weight off your shoulders.
E-books are changing the way students study in school.
It's nice to just be able to bring my laptop or my tablet or just like a printed out chapter.
Coming up in sports, the Ukes are in the finals this weekend. Oil Kings start their WHL playoffs, and I see how I do at boxing. Floyd Mayweather, I'm coming for you.
Hi, I'm Tamara Canoe. It's the first weekend of spring, but it doesn't feel like it, does it? No, it's a little bit chilly outside still, and I bet you've got those winter jackets out once more. But I have good news. Yes, spring is on the horizon. I can see it, and if you stick with me until after the break, I'll fill you in on how this cold snap is retreating for your Sunday forecast.
We all got excited to see the sunshine, but now it feels we celebrated too soon, doesn't it?
It sure does. I saw a girl with shorts the other day, and I bet she's not feeling that brave today. Tamara Canoe joins us for the weather to tell you if you can pull out your swimsuits or if you're going to be stuck in a parka.
Yes, unfortunately, it's not swimsuit weather just yet. Sorry to disappoint. And I do have some good news, but you'll have to be a little patient because first we're going to get to your Sunday forecast. So over to our neighbors in the south in Calgary, -11 as a low, not too cold. You're going to have to get out your jackets anyways. Sorry for all you short wearers. -4 as a high, 60% chance of snow, but it shouldn't stay for too long. Over to Jasper, we have -20. They're not as lucky as us. It's definitely a little bit colder and they're feeling it. -8 as a daytime high, 60% chance of some snow, and they're going to be bundling up for most of the day. In Fort McMurray, -18, still pretty cold, but they have a mix of sun and clouds. So they got the shades on. They may be feeling the chilliness, but the sun's in their face, and all in all, I hope they're having a great day. -9 as a daytime high, 0% chance of snow. In the capital region, -14 as a daytime low and -3 as a high. Mix of sun and clouds, so at least we have the sun out, and a 20% chance of some snow. Not too bad in the capital region, but as our averages last year on this day, we had a -6 for a low and 3 as a high. Not too bad, and we go into the records. Yes, we are the City of Champions, and we have set some records, whether or not it was good or bad. In 1889, we had a high of 21 degrees. Man, I was born in the wrong year. I would have gotten a better tan in the 1800s. Low of -27, so they were definitely feeling a little bit colder than I was. Drive safe this weekend. Thank you for joining me for your weekend forecast. As always, it's been priceless.
Weather sponsored by NR92, the station for the students.
For many students, carrying textbooks can be a physical demand as well as financially.
E-books have been introduced to provide the online resources for the classes you need. Connor Chan has the story.
Textbooks these days can cost a lot. Add that up with tuition and other expenses, and your wallet can take a huge hit. Ebooks are electronic copies of the original print book, but available online, making them more accessible for students. Gabby Byers has been using ebooks for 2 years and says the books are more cost efficient and less demanding on her physically.
They get really heavy, and on days where I'm taking 3 or 4 classes a day, it's nice to just be able to bring my laptop or my tablet or just like a printed out chapter from a textbook that I need.
NAIT has an abundance of online resources for students to use on their laptops, tablets, or any other devices connected to the internet. Christine Liu knows that there are many advantages to using an ebook.
They're always available, so if somebody comes to the library and checks out a print book, then that takes it out of commission for anyone else to use for 3 weeks until it comes back.
And just how much do they save?
$210 off of what it would have cost me here, and nearly $400 off of what it would have cost me to buy them new at the bookstore.
With technology quickly evolving, it's no surprise how some students have made the transition from paper to digital. Pretty soon we could see all students going from these to this. For NAIT NewsWatch, I'm Connor Chan.
Drew Miller joins us for sports.
Drew, are the Ukes working hard to defend their title as ACAC champions?
Yes, they are, but let's first look what they had to do to get into the finals. With the Ukes looking to defend their title in the ACAC championship, they would have to get through the semifinals against Red Deer College. Semi-final action, and look who decided to show up. The next Grant Fuhr and Wayne Gretzky. What an honor. Game 1, here we go. Some beautiful passing by the Ukes. Waterfield receives the pass and wires it home. What a start for the Ukes. Ukes continue to pour it on. Lazowski takes it to the middle and passes it over to where Peluso slaps it upstairs. That happened so fast it barely got on camera. No chance for the goaltender. Red Deer making a push now. 2-on-1. Nice sauce over to Simpson. He makes no mistake, and the lead is cut in half. 2-1 Ukes. Kings at it again. Pass to the front of the net. Misses everyone, but the D-man strides in, fires it on the net where it gets deflected in. That would tie it up going into the second period. Ukes started off the right way. Turnover at the blue line. Wood receives the pass, looks short side, and makes no mistake. 3-2 after the second period. Ukes open it up now. A fan shot would somehow find its way to the stick of Kyle Harris at the doorstep, and he slides it in to make it 4-2. Now one last chance for the Kings. Great pass to Marinchuk, but Birch flashes the leather. Ukes just too good on this night. They would add 2 more to win the game 6-2. They would win the series 2-0 and face SAIT next series.
We knew that they had a tough series against GMAC that went the distance, so we wanted to make sure to get into it right away, be physical and have our feet moving, and I thought we did a pretty good job of that tonight.
Now with the win, the Ukes will face the SAIT Trojans to defend their title of the ACAC Championships. They are back at practice during the week and playing only 2 games in the last 3 weeks. They want to make sure they are ready for the finals.
Championship, last series, everything's on the line. I think both teams will really tighten up defensively. And, I mean, we've done good offensively all year, and we managed to put a few behind Red Deer, but I think it'll be a tight series against SAIT.
Game 2 goes tonight. Canadian basketball is starting to get a lot of recognition. With last year's first overall pick being from Canada, people are starting to focus more and more from players north of the border. In this year's March Madness tournament, there are over 25 players from Canada. Some notables to watch for are Nick Stauskas. He plays for the Michigan Wolverines. Next name to watch for is Tyler Ennis. He leads the Syracuse Orange into the tournament and is considered one of the top freshmen in college basketball. And there's one more name to watch for at this year's tournament. But what was his name? I forget.
Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins.
Andrew Wiggins. Woo!
That's right, Andrew Wiggins. Can't forget about him. He plays for the Kansas Jayhawks and is projected to go first overall in this year's NBA draft. NAIT basketball coach Mike Connolly talks about just how well this shows Canadian basketball is doing as a whole.
I think it shows that Canadian basketball is improving. I think there's a lot to be said for the Olympics for the future, and for the next couple of cycles, we should have some pretty good players and put out some pretty good athletes.
March Madness runs until April 6th. The first round matchups of the WHL playoffs are set, and the Oil Kings are ready to get into the playoff mindset. The Kings will play Prince Albert in the first round. Prince Albert defeated the Red Deer Rebels in a 1-game playoff to advance to the playoffs. Practice at a high intensity to simulate what should be an exciting series between the two teams.
Yeah, I mean, they got some weapons, and so do we, so I don't think there'll be a lack of scoring, but there's also good goaltending on both ends.
Game 2 goes tomorrow at Rexall Place. Boxing has always been something I've wanted to try. It looks like a great workout, and it never hurts to know some self-defense. So I called up a local boxing club to get a lesson for this week's End Zone Challenge. The first thing that boxing instructor Silvio Fex had me do is warm up by skipping rope. After that, he gave me some pointers on footwork.
Usually the good stance is like 12 and 2 o'clock, shoulder width, the front foot out front. And what we'll do now, we'll look at that mirror, we'll get our hands up, and we're going to...
After learning the footwork, we incorporated jabs. It may look simple, but there are a lot of things you have to think about when punching. Keeping your arms up so you don't get smoked in the head, and focusing on one location so you're hitting the same thing every time.
You're going to go out, over. There's your power right there. It's like throwing that baseball. When you throw that baseball, it's all in the wrist at the end.
Eventually, we moved over to the bag and continued working jabs. I was curious to know how important lifting weights was for boxing.
I've always been taught, when I was coming up, the best muscles are swimmers' muscles. They have long muscles, so if we have long muscles, we can extend our punches, but if we're bulky, we can't.
Next up was the speed bag. I always saw these in movies and really wanted to try it out. It was a lot harder than I thought it would be. He explained to me the most important thing was keeping on time.
What you're trying to do is trying to keep the same rhythm.
After that, we moved on to punching a dummy. The main idea behind this was working on hitting the same spot every time so you could knock the guy out. If you are like me and have thought boxing would be fun, try it out. You won't be disappointed.
Wow, Drew, you sure look like Rocky out there.
Good to know you didn't get KO'd in the ring.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't actually let me face anyone in the ring, but that's for next lesson. I'm really looking forward to it.
Thanks, Drew. Coming up at on NAIT NewsWatch, we take a trip to Goodwill.
What are some of the treasures we found when we dove into the secondhand store?
The generosity of Edmontonians, Calgarians, people from Grand Prairie, Spruce Grove, St. Albert, Sherwood Park, Airdrie, and other communities. So it's about the people supporting, through our enterprise, Albertans with disabilities.
Coming up in entertainment, Mary Poppins is flying into the Citadel. You have a chance to win tickets to go see Noah, and I'm here at the Winsphere, checking out what Edmonton's Symphony Orchestra has in store for us this season.
NAIT NewsWatch Outerwear is sponsored by Pinnacle Sportswear and Michener Allen Auctioneering.
Haircut and color provided by Ivory Noir, Edmonton's first color correction salon.
Krista and I had the opportunity to help out at Goodwill Industries of Alberta.
We got the chance to see firsthand how Goodwill is run and their impact on society. Goodwill is a social enterprise providing individuals with disabilities the opportunity to enhance their lives through meaningful employment.
You work with the people, so, you know, it's the people that make the company.
As a charitable society, Goodwill thrives off of donations from the community. Items are priced and then placed into their retail stores, giving people the opportunity to buy quality items at great value.
The generosity of Edmontonians, Calgarians, people from Grand Prairie, Spruce Grove, St. Albert, Sherwood Park, Airdrie, and other communities. So it's about the people supporting, through our enterprise, Albertans with disabilities.
For more information, go to goodwill.ab.ca.
There's excitement happening all around our city for both adults and kids.
Whether you're looking for a fancy night out at the Symphony or somewhere fun to spend a day outside with the family, Dakota will have something more for you in entertainment.
The story of a magic nanny is spreading light, love, and happiness at the Citadel this spring.
You know, you can always use the same letter more than once. Now let me see. Supercalifragilistic expialidocious.
Mary Poppins tells the story of a nanny hired to look after a grouchy old banker's children who are known for terrorizing every one of their past nannies and requested their father hire a new and imaginative one.
Lengthy lexicons to find the perfect word. A little spontaneity keeps conversations clean. You need to find a way to say precisely what you mean.
Blythe Wilson, who plays Mary Poppins, will bring a smile to your face with her high-energy performance, vocals, and magic.
You want magic to be perfect for children and for the audience. So that's the most difficult part for me is just trying to get everything right, everything out of the bag, and have that effect work.
The Edmonton Symphony Orchestra is back for its 2014-2015 season, and they've announced some exciting new shows. Guests came to the event held at the Winsphere Centre to learn about shows such as Disney in Concert, the debut of Symphony in the City, music of Paul McCartney, and Cirque de la Symphonie.
Absolutely. We are an open access organization. We'll do anything. You know, we do movie music, we do cartoon music, we do Baroque music, we do everything in between. You know, we're here to service our community and to bring great music to the people of Edmonton and Northern Alberta.
Puppets, frogs, and clowns will all star in this year's International Children's Festival. St. Albert hosted an event to release all the details of the themed events they have lined up, all designed to help children learn through creative expression, communication, attentive listening, and music appreciation.
I represent the generation who experienced the festival as a youth, and now I'm returning with my own children. With fond memories of music, art, entertainment, and an incredible sense of community. That's the real one that sticks in my head, is that sense of community.
For tickets, head online to Ticketmaster.ca or pop in to the Arden Theatre. In this week's viral video, we meet Mateo, a 3-year-old desperate to receive forgiveness for trying to eat cupcakes for dinner. Let's see how he does. Step 1, get your mom to listen to you.
They can listen to me, like I do this all the time.
Okay, great. You've got her attention, but you're still in trouble.
Okay, but I have to yell at you guys.
Linda, listen, Linda, listen.
Okay, what?
Explain yourself, Mateo. Just tell your mom that Grandma lets you have the cupcakes for dinner.
Okay.
Okay, then what?
Then you're not listening to me.
Then you're not listening to me.
I asked you
not. Uh-oh, not a good time to get sassy. Maybe try sweet talking?
Listen.
But Linda, honey, look at this. Right now, they can't do
I'd have cracked by now, but Mateo's mom isn't budging.
I'm done arguing with you.
I'm not arguing with you.
Better luck next time, little buddy. A familiar story has made its way to the big screen. We've got a preview of Noah.
What did he say? He's going to destroy the world.
My father said that one day, if man continued in his ways, the Creator would annihilate this world.
Can it not be averted?
He speaks to you. You must trust that he speaks in a way that you can understand.
Russell Crowe, Jennifer Connelly, and Emma Watson all star in the newly released flick inspired by the biblical account of the flood and one man's divine mission to save creation. Before accepting the role, Crowe was promised 2 things.
1, you don't have to wear sandals. And 2, you will never be standing on the bow of a boat flanked by a giraffe and an elephant. So I said, cool.
Take the ark!
Beginning of everything.
If that preview has you itching to go see Noah, you're in luck. I have a double guest pass up for grabs for the first person to send in their very own selfie, since Edmonton was ranked the 2nd most selfie-obsessed city in Canada. That's all for entertainment. Back to your anchors.
I'm pretty excited to see Noah. I hear it's really good.
I know, it looks absolutely fantastic. I think I'll be buying tickets to that this weekend.
Yeah, and I love seeing Emma Watson on screen.
Absolutely. If you guys want to catch more of us, you can go to NAIT NewsWatch.ca.
We'll see you next time. Good night.